Thanks for joining us for this short presentation today on how to whether we can save 80% in processing a purchase invoice. My name is Simon Verona. I'm the Managing Director here of DMS Navigator, and today I'll be doing the main presentation. Andy Bailey is joining me. Andy is our Customer Success Manager, and most of you will know him. During the session, feel free to answer any questions as comments. Andy will pick them up and ensure that I answer them. Today's agenda is quite straightforward. We'll introduce the question of the day, which is, can we save 80% of the time to process a purchase invoice? We'll review the issues in some more depth, and we'll review the solution to those issues and how this can work in a Navigator environment. And we'll close with the opportunity to ask questions. Processing purchase invoices is pretty much a time-consuming job of reading the invoice and copy typing that information into a system, then picking the right ledger, whether that's the vehicle ledger, the GANI, or to a nominal code, posting the invoice, and then filing that either by storing the scan or storing the document or filing that manually in a filing cabinet. All of that's pretty inefficient. There's a lot of human intervention in there. Let's just see how that actually works in the real time and see how that works. And here's a real-time demonstration that I pre-recorded for this presentation. So let's start with traditional posting. So we'll post the invoice. There's the invoice that I've got. I've taken that out of an email, and we can see the invoice there, the customer supply details, and we can see the invoice number and look around. There's the value, and somewhere at the bottom we can see the VAT there. We can pick that out manually. And now we've got that. I'll just move it off screen. We can then post. So I've got to set the date. Let's go manually find the supplier, pick the supplier from the list, there it is, pop the invoice number in, got to type that in manually, type that in, date's okay, put the value in, calculates the VAT, pop the nominal code in, and we can then post that in. Post add-on, and then post before we post the invoice, remember to drag the image into it, so we've got that stored away. There it is, and now post that away. And we've posted that, and that's 59 seconds. The key issue here is that posting the invoice takes time, but it's essentially a human copy typing what they're seeing on the invoice. Plenty of opportunity for errors. 60 seconds is pretty good going for an average invoice, so sort of multiply that up, an hour and 40 minutes for 100 invoices. That's for somebody who does nothing but typing and doesn't take any breaks and runs at a consistent speed. Many dealerships will easily have 1,000 invoices to process every month. That's 2 whole days a month doing nothing but copy typing. So clearly there is an opportunity to improve. How can we improve on that? I think there's a few areas. There's 3 key areas. The first is in the actual collection of the actual invoice. Most invoices are available or arrive digitally, and if not, they can be very easily scanned to email. So the key thing here is to capture the original invoice by email. And then once you've got that, we can use computer artificial intelligence to do the job of the human to read the invoice and process that invoice for us. We should then leave the human being in the whole thing to only require just to confirm that the computer's right. So let's take those concepts together, the capturing the invoice by email, using artificial intelligence to process that through. Play again by a pre-recorded video. It's in real time, there's no breaks in it. Don't blink, this is quite quick. Hey, this video is only 10 seconds long. We'll post the invoice. It's already there in an email. It's already populated. We just click post and it's done. Less than 10 seconds. Okay, this video is only 10 seconds long. We'll post the invoice. A bit more about the solution. Firstly, not every invoice can be posted in 10 seconds. There's GANI entries to link to the vehicles or whatever. But however, the 50-second time saving in those 2 demonstrations is probably real. It's going to be there or thereabouts. time taken to actually process that. Remember, of course, that we processed exactly the same invoice in both demonstrations. The artificial intelligence engine is about 90% accurate on day one, but the good thing about it is it's self-training, it's self-learning, and you'd expect the accuracy of that to go up all the way up to about 97%. It can process an email file, a PDF file, a scan, an image file. It makes no difference. It's just as easy. It will read any invoice, any document that a human can read. If a human can't read it, the computer won't read it either. But generally, it will do as reasonably good a job as a human will on anything. So to summarise that in total, this clearly is a very highly efficient way of processing invoices. The accuracy is very good. I've been using it myself for the last 2 months or so, and I've been quite surprised how accurate it is in reading what you see on the invoice. That translates to reduced processing costs, time equaling money. And technology there is built into Navigator to do that. It does, however, use a third-party artificial intelligence engine, and that's licensed on a per document basis. If you want to find out more about this, Andy's the person to contact. You can email him at andy@dmsnavigator.co.uk. So finally, any questions? Firstly, you can process multiple invoices through there. So if you have a batch of invoices that have been emailed in, you pick the first invoice through, it will then post that. It'll then move on to the next one. And any GANI entry, you have to go and obviously pick the GANI manually. It will attempt to educationally guess based on value and date and references which GANI it is. If it's more than one GANI entry, it's not going to do that. It's still going to be manual, so no real time saving at that point. Similarly, if it's a vehicle, you can post to a vehicle there. So you can click on vehicle, choose the stock record, and post the invoices you would do there. So again, no major item there. Question about the nominal code. How did it know what nominal code to post to? That's set up on the supplier account. You can set up nominal codes against the supplier account and lock the posting to that. So if you've got, say, a supplier such as Auto Trader, you can take the supplier account, put in the nominal code on a new vehicle advertising or used vehicle advertising, link that to that thing, lock it to it. It will then know that all invoices go to that. If you do have a supplier with multiple nominal codes, it will still have to ask you which one is it going to go to before you actually confirm the invoice. It's not going to guess which one it should go to out of that. Finally, the cost of that is 25p. An invoice will be the standard processing. You'll buy batches, will give you a discount on that, so you can say buy 500, 1,000, whatever it is a month as a price for that to do that. No more questions? Okay, well, thanks very much for your time today. If you do have any more questions that you think of after the presentation, Andy's the man. Repeat his email address, andy@dmsnavigator.co.uk. Thanks very much for your time.